G'day everyone. Trump's border wall. Politically divisive, expensive to build, difficult to maintain, screws over wildlife habitat and is just, well, mean. But aside from all those things, there's an important question. Would Donald Trump's wall actually work? Would it stop illegal Mexican immigrants and would it stop the drugs and the crime that they so famously bring? Well, you might be surprised by what the data says. Look, I support the right of any nation to decide who comes into their country and the manner in which they come. One important reason why I support that is because every year, hundreds of people will die trying to cross the US border. According to US Customs and Border Protection, 7,000 people have already died in crossing attempts in the last 20 years. Now, that's a significant tragedy that everyone from every party should be genuinely trying to solve in whichever way is most effective. But Trump's wall is not meant to save the lives of illegal immigrants. It's meant to stop them from coming in here. So does the wall do that? Well, yes. In a way, statistics show that if your objective is to decrease the number of illegal land crossings from Mexico, then the wall is bloody great. Increased border security does work at deterring illegal land migration. Just one piece of evidence for this, research from Robert Whitley showed that back in 2005, 95% of wannabe Mexican immigrants who got caught said they'd try again. But in 2006, Congress approved the Fence Act mandating nearly 700 miles of fencing on the border, a bill that was notably supported by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. So by 2015, the number of Mexicans who said they'd try again to cross the border had dropped down to 49%. Now, scientists don't like bandying about the term statistically significant without cause. But as a scientist, 95% down to 49%, that's what I'd call statistically significant. You can't deny that a fence works as a deterrent against Mexicans illegally crossing the border. There, I said it. See, my issue is that when you actually look at all the data, Mexicans crossing the border illegally is not actually the problem you might think it is. Because illegal Mexican immigrants make way better US residents than the residents we already have residing here. Firstly, I know some people think Mexican immigrants bring crime, but the statistics show the exact opposite. Research out of the conservative Cato Institute shows that 1.53% of US citizens are incarcerated. Now compare that with 0.85% for undocumented immigrants and 0.47% for legal immigrants. So basically, if you're good enough to get here, you're exactly the type of person the US should be encouraging to stay. And an analysis of FBI statistics by the Wilson Center show that from 2011 to 2015, 22 out of the 23 US counties along the border had violent crime rates lower than the national average for similar counties. So you might actually want more illegal immigrants in your neighborhood. Secondly, but would the wall stop drugs? Yes, drugs do cross the US-Mexico land border. I mean, we've all seen Benicio del Toro in traffic. And yes, building a wall might help with that. But the amount of drugs coming into the country over the land border is tiny. 80% of all the illegal drugs that get here by sea. And the small portion that come by land usually go through a port of entry using a car or a truck. So drug trafficking isn't usually done by Mexicans waltzing over the border with kilos of coke in their tucker bag. Pew Research suggests that most Mexican migrants come here to either build stuff or pick vegetables that would be rotting without them. Now, if you pick vegetables in the Arizona sun for 12 hours a day, you're probably going to be too exhausted to do much raping or murdering. Building a wall to stop drugs and crime is kind of like trying to stop Thanos by shooting Star-Lord. It's satisfying, but not particularly effective. Now finally, if you still think that illegal immigrants coming in overland are a real problem, fun fact for you, most illegal immigrants aren't even crossing the border in places where the wall would be built. They're crossing in places where the wall wouldn't be built. Places with what Trump calls natural barriers. For example, the Rio Grande. More people are crossing illegally from Mexico in the Rio Grande sector than in any other stretch of the 1,933-mile US border. But Trump doesn't even intend to build a wall there. That's right, you heard me. Trump has literally said that he wouldn't build a wall in the one place that has the most illegal crossings. No matter if you're red or blue, whether you support immigrants or not, the Trump wall just doesn't work. But what do you guys think? If you had $15 billion, would you build a wall? Or would you invest in something else? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Hi everyone, I'm Jade Lovell, resident science nerd on the Young Turks Network. You're watching SciQ and we know you don't want to miss an episode, so please click the subscribe button down below.